I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. And we're talking about a lot of light in the sky this week because the planets are so well placed that you can understand why the title of today's show is A Winning Combination. And I think that every one of us can put together some sort of winning combination this week. And you might think of it as something where you are, when you're cooking or you're baking something, you have to get all the right ingredients together first. And that can be what we're going to be able to do this week as we put together a winning combination. And why is that? Well, it's because there are so many planets that are very well placed this week. And that doesn't happen that often, but today there are 5 planets that are all in a grand trine in the water signs. And the water signs rule healing and they rule our feelings. So if you can follow your feelings quite honestly, you could put together a winning combination this week just by doing that. But there is another grand trine as well of 3 planets in the earth sign. And that means that you can probably put together ideas or plans or schedules that can help you plan for financial changes that are coming. And you could do that rather constructively. And then there are 2 more planets that are trining each other in the creative, conceptual, communicative air signs. There aren't any planets in the fire signs. So this week, I think that you're going to have more than one golden opportunity to put together a winning combination as you draw perhaps people or plans together that symbolize the right ingredients for success. It doesn't mean that you can just zoom forward toward an end goal right now, but you can put together the right ingredients to achieve it. That would be entirely possible. Particularly if you follow your feelings honestly. And that is because, wow, is there a lot going on in the water signs. First of all, Venus has left Libra and it has now gone into Scorpio. So Venus is in Scorpio, which is a fixed financial water sign, ruling justice and survival, and money coming in from other sources, or it even rules taxes, which means money can be going out as well. But that Venus in Scorpio is beautifully trining 4 other planets. And for instance, it's trining Saturn and Neptune, which are retrograde in Pisces, where we had that fabulous full moon lunar eclipse last week. And that Venus in Scorpio is also trining 2 planets in Cancer. Mars and the moon are in Cancer. Now the moon rules Cancer and Neptune rules Pisces. So we have 2 rulers in water signs trining each other beautifully. That means you really could make a long-delayed dream come true as if you follow your feelings. But the other 2 planets that are there, Mars in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces, are 2 malefic planets that are working together very well. And on top of that, today, the moon is at 12 degrees of Cancer, and Mars is also at 12 degrees of Cancer. They are exactly conjuncting. That means that tomorrow they're going to be at the 13th degree of Cancer. And that is a critical degree in the sign of Cancer, and it is the exact degree of the United States sun. And so maybe it's America that is going to get together and form some sort of winning combination. And I think it is perfectly possible. And that's because Venus is trining the 2 rulers of both Cancer and Pisces, and Venus is trining 2 malefic planets harmoniously, Mars and Saturn. So all 5 of these planets are doing you a lot of good this week, particularly if you're honest about your true feelings and your most cherished dreams. And then in the earth signs, there are 3 planets that are trining each other almost exactly. And so if you were going to sit down and really look over your budget or your career or your long-term security or your investments or your health matters, you could do a good job of resolving some of those issues right now. And that is because it starts with Uranus in Taurus, which is at 27 degrees, and it is retrograde or going backward in a fixed financial sign that rules your investments or how you make your money and what you spend it on. So you need to rethink that a little bit, because Uranus is a malefic planet, and its quality is one of volatility and being unstable. So that's why you'd want to look over your financial affairs a little bit more carefully in anticipation of change that can be coming. Because that Uranus in Taurus is trining Mercury in Virgo, and it rules that sign, and it is at 28 degrees. Remember, Uranus is at 27 degrees. And so that Mercury in Virgo can rule our sixth house of work and health traditionally, and it can rule our mental health or our mental attitude as well as our physical attitude. And so it's a good time to re-examine that. And since Virgo rules accounting, once again, it's a good time to go over your budget or your schedules or what your plans are, even your short-term and your long-term plans, and try to resolve them in the anticipation of financial change that can be coming. Because that Mercury in Virgo is also trining Pluto in Capricorn at the 29th degree of fate. And Capricorn rules your 10th house of career and your public reputation and your long-term security. And Pluto rules people in upper management in large corporations, government agencies, or institutions. And since it's retrograde, there can be change there. So this almost exact grand trine in the earth signs is going to help you out right now if you anticipate changes and constructive changes that you would need to make in the face of future financial changes that can be coming up. The next trine that we're talking about is wonderful. It's because the sun has now gone into Libra, and it is trining Jupiter in Gemini. And Gemini rules communication and easy transitional change, and Libra rules partnership. And so these two wonderful planets are trining each other, and they are also trining the sign of Aquarius, which rules the future. And that is why, if you were able to put together some sort of winning combination right now, just the way you could bake bread by getting all the right ingredients together before you put the whole thing together and achieve your goal, you could do it right now. And so I really hope that you do, because there are also 4 retrograde planets right now, and they are all in one half of your chart. And so when there are that many planets going backward, you have to go back and look things over again and review them. That's just going to be a part of your good planning right now, and you're putting together a winning combination. The 4 retrograde planets are Pluto in Capricorn, ruling your career, remember, and then Saturn and Neptune are in Pisces, ruling things that go on behind the scenes, but Pisces also rules miracles. And then Uranus is in Taurus, which is a fixed financial sign, ruling your investments. So you have to go back and review those things, sort of make sure as you're following your feelings and creating a winning combination that you're still keeping your feet on the ground and doing it in a practical way. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think that since the sun is now in Libra and it is opposing your sun sign, there is an indication that there can be somewhat, and an opposition sometimes represents separations. There can be a parting of the ways somewhere in your life, Aries, and it could be that you might even be thinking about ending one partnership, but with the anticipation of starting another one soon. There are no planets in the fire signs right now, but there are planets in the cardinal signs forming a harsh T-cross, and that's going to affect you, Aries, because yours is a cardinal sign. And so Mars and the moon in exact conjunction today in Cancer are both squaring your sun, and Mars is your own ruler. And since Cancer rules the home and it rules moving, you may be moving. That could be somewhat of a challenge for you, Aries, but believe me, even though moves are no fun, they generally end up being better for you in the long run. So if you were anticipating a move, this would be a very good time to do that. And it could be arduous, but at the same time, it may refresh you as you get into some new situation or new area that can revive you in some way as you pursue new plans. or new partners, which would be great. And then Pluto in Capricorn is also squaring your sun, and it is retrograde, meaning that you have to go back and rethink your career plans, or what kind of, if you're changing jobs, what kind of future job you might be looking for. It might be different than what you've had before. And so it's also the possibility that somebody can be making changes wherever you're employed, and those changes would necessitate a layoff or cutting back or reducing management for one reason or another. So you're facing all of that, Aries. And since there are no planets in fire signs, there's no backup to any of the fire signs right now. And so we're not really at the zooming forward stage, because that's what fire signs like to do, particularly you, Aries. But we are in a stage where, if we're honest with ourselves, and we're looking pretty closely at the bottom line as well, because there's a grand trine in earth signs, that we can put together some sort of winning combination right now. And it might be a new one for you, Aries. And I think you'd enjoy that. Your sign rules new beginnings anyway, so good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Taurus. There is a grand trine in the earth signs right now. So lucky you, Taurus. You're going to be able to sit down with a pen or a pencil and start adding things up, because Uranus in your sign is trining that powerful Mercury in Virgo today, almost exactly. And then Uranus in your sign is also being trined by Pluto, which is retrograde in Capricorn, and that's almost exact as well. So there can be a change in management or a change in your career, or there could be some necessary downsizing, either by your employer or by you, Taurus, as you look around and you say, oh gee, I don't think I can afford everything the way I used to. So you might be wanting to cut your budget down a little bit, or reduce costs in one way or another. That would be really smart of you. And because Venus has now come into Scorpio, it's your ruler, but it's opposing your sun sign. There can be some sort of separation or parting of the ways, and it might be with your money, Taurus, because Scorpio rules taxes and loans and credit and debt. And if you are in, and since Uranus is in your sign opposing that Venus, there is an indication that you may have some higher bills to pay, and you would simply have to do it, and some of them could be tax bills. And so if you sat down under this grand trine in earth signs and started planning for financial change, which can be coming up for you, Taurus, I think that would be a wise thing to do, because you'd want to be putting together some sort of financial plan for the future that would represent a winning combination. And with the grand trine in earth signs, you could do it. And so this is a time to be extremely practical, Taurus, because there are 4 retrograde planets. One of them is in your sign, and 3 of them are behind your sign. And so you've got to rethink a lot of things right now, including your career or your public reputation, and also things that you're involved with behind the scenes. So you're really going to have to do a lot of rethinking right now, Taurus, but I think you could be successful at that if you're practical, and all the earth signs are practical. So you're going to get a lot of help with that, so good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, Jupiter is still in your sign, Gemini, that's great, and now it's being trined by the sun in Libra. There could be a new partnership offer coming your way, because Libra rules partnership. Or if you were in some sort of legal matter that had not been settled, there is the possibility it could be reaching a settlement stage, which is great. That would benefit you. And the way that it would benefit you, particularly even if a partnership ended, or even if a legal matter did, get resolved, so it's not on, your schedule anymore, and you can move beyond that, it would allow you to expand your life in one way or another and pick up perhaps a new partner as well. It's just that since the sun is in Libra, trining Jupiter in your sign and trining your sun, Gemini, I have a feeling that there is some really good partnership offer coming your way. And you should definitely say yes. Even if it was only part-time or temporary, you wouldn't mind. That's what your sign rules, is projects like that. And so, and also you could be making some easy transitional change that might come through the help of a partner. And that would tend to work out very well. What direction would it lead you in? It would lead you straight toward the future, because the Sun and Jupiter in your sign are both trining the sign of Aquarius, which does rule the future. And your future is coming up for you. If you don't know it right now, you're going to be happily surprised by it very soon, Gemini, because Pluto is going to go back into Aquarius by the middle of November and continue to trine your Sun for years. And you're going to be pleasantly surprised about the way that your future sort of unfolds. Particularly this year, the whole time that Jupiter is in your sign. It's not leaving your sign till next summer, so good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer. Remember, I described putting together a winning combination as somewhat analogous to baking bread, where you have to get all the right ingredients together before you get something really delicious. Well, that is possible for you, Cancer, because there is a grand trine of 5 planets in the healing water signs. And so if you follow your feelings, and which can be aroused right now because the moon is in your sign, that's your own ruler, but it is tightly conjuncting Mars today. They're both at 12 degrees, and they're going to move right into the critical 13th degree of Cancer tomorrow. And so I think that you have tremendous backup right now, Cancer, because Venus in Scorpio is trining your Sun, which means there could be more money coming your way in one way or another. And then Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, both of which are retrograde, are also trining your Sun. That means that the ruler of Pisces, Neptune, is trining your own ruler, the moon in your sign, and a malefic planet, Saturn, which represents a delay and obstruction, but also things that occur that are very noteworthy over a long period of time. And that Saturn is trining Mars in your sign, which is a very energetic planet. And so if you're looking at any sort of trouble or dissension or arguments, that's what Mars rules, in your family or in your home life, or if you're deciding to make a move, and you know that's always a hard thing to do, I would say that you are certainly going to have the energy for it, and you are going to probably act on a change in your life, Cancer, based on what you have learned behind the scenes under the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, which beautifully trined your Sun last week. And so if you were reviewing some of the things that you had done in your past, let's just say that, you know, we're not all perfect or anything, so all of us have made some kind of mistakes. If you're reviewing the mistakes you've made in your past because of the enlightenment coming from the sign of Pisces, which does favorably trine your Sun, and you are wisely learning from your past mistakes, you could be all ready to make some sort of winning combination for your future. And that means you could be in a move, but that would result in happiness. Or you could be deciding to face the truth about the difference between the people that you'd been associating with in your past and the people that you want to associate with in your future. You could be making different choices right now, and they would be based on your true feelings, and that's a good idea. And besides that, it looks to me like money's coming your way, Cancer, in one way or another, because Venus is in Scorpio trining that Mars and trining the moon, your own ruler. But it's also trining Saturn and Neptune, the ruler of Pisces. Something's going to be easier for you than you can possibly imagine. Even if you're dreading doing something really hard, it's going to turn out to be easier than you think. It might be because you are putting together the right combination right now. And if you get the right ingredients together for your future happiness, this is absolutely the best time to do that. 5 planets trining each other in a grand trine in water signs right after a fabulous lunar eclipse last week that also trined your Sun. You need to anticipate change, and it would be change for the better. And on top of that, even if there was dissension in the family, or you are moving to a different home or back to a former home, it's all going to work out better than you think, Cancer. And you will have the energy to do it all. In fact, you could be well motivated to do it. You could just decide, okay, this is the time, the right time, and I'm going to do it. And the motivation could come from the fact that you have more stamina and, you know, more energy, And it could also be that by reviewing any mistakes you've made in your life and saying, oh, that's over, not going to do that anymore, you could be putting together a winning combination that could make you happy for the rest of your life. And that's really worth doing, Cancer, right about now. Particularly since Mars is in your sign, because it's going to give you the motivation and the drive to do it. And Saturn is backing you up. I mean, all the malefic planets are actually backing you up. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, there aren't any planets in the fire signs at all today. But it means that you could still put together a winning combination, Leo, if you just sat down and first, you know, sometimes fire signs, they put the cart before the horse. In other words, they're so excited and enthusiastic about what they want to do that they don't sit down and carefully plan it. They just sort of zoom ahead. Now, this is not the time to do that, Leo, because there's nothing backing up your sign at all, or any of the fire signs. Okay, so you're not going to reach your final destination at the moment, Leo, but you too could put together a winning combination, because there are grand trines. In fact, all 10 planets are being trined by some other planet right now. You should take advantage of that. And that means that you may have to go to other people and work with them a little bit more closely, more as equals, or more as you doing your share, somebody else is doing their share. In other words, not so much as the boss, but as combining with other people. Because a good combination of things can be the result of being very practical, particularly about financial change. It certainly is coming up for you, Leo, because it won't be any later than November. It really will hit you, because Uranus and Taurus is squaring your sun right now, and Taurus is a fixed financial sign. Venus in Scorpio is also squaring your sun right now, and by the middle of November, Pluto will move back into Aquarius, where it will stay for years, and it will be opposing your sun sign. And so this is a very good time. Even if you can't zoom ahead and achieve everything that you want at the moment, Leo, you too could still sit down very practically and take advantage of that grand trine in the earth signs and just say, what can I afford? And not only just now, but in the future. Or what do I want to do, and how much is it going to cost? And who else do I need to help me? Well, Leos don't usually think of having other people help them, because they're pretty confident that they know what they're doing, and they do want to be a leader. But leaders don't go too far without a good team. And this is the time when, if you think about just putting together the right combination, and try hard to do that, because that's not going to be as easy as you think, Leo, and keep working at that, that in itself would be quite an achievement. It's like getting the right ingredients together first. And that's about as, you know, if you achieve that, that will be great, Leo. But if you just decide, I'm going to have everything my own way, you're going to be the Lone Ranger. There's not going to be anybody else around listening to you, because there's nothing in fire signs at all. And you do have other planets that are squaring your sign. So you can be threatened financially if you don't sit down and think real practically about redoing your budget or your plans in some way that can allow for financial change. And it might be downsizing in the future. So I hope you do that, Leo. Be very conservative in your financial plans right now. And do not bite off more than you can chew, because it would be too expensive. Just take one step at a time and go forward. All right, what does it mean to a Virgo? Virgo, your ruler Mercury is still in your sign. It's at the 28th degree, so it's just about to leave. But it is in beautifully, and it's beautifully trine, and almost exactly Uranus in Taurus, and it's also trining Pluto in Capricorn. So this is a time when you really need to think about your career, Virgo, and about your health, both your physical health and your mental health, which means your mental attitude about things. And I think you have been thinking about that, Virgo. And I think that if you are asking yourself very practically, almost the way a patient who had been sick and was wanting to recover from their sickness and, get well and go on with their life, they would have to just take it one step at a time. They would have to be very practical. They would have to be patient. They would have to go through some sort of rehab therapy to get well. And, we do that when we're sick. And so this is a good time for you to do that, Virgo. Whether you're doing it just in your financial plans and your investments, or whether you're doing it in your mental attitude, thinking, oh, okay, I might have to redo this a little bit if I want to succeed in the future, or whether you are just going to stop kidding yourself about things. Because the planets in Pisces, which are beautifully backed up from a grand trine in the water signs today, are opposing that Mercury in your sign. So Virgos like to really work very hard on getting the right answers. They're really good at that. But at the same time, these planets that have been in Pisces for a while now, they could have made you kid yourself about something. Either a health condition or some sort of relationship, or you may have, if you were trying to do things behind the scenes that were a little questionable, that would have been exposed. You wouldn't be able to get away with that any further. And so, Virgo, this is a really optimum time for you to sit down and make a winning combination of where you are today and what kind of shape you're in to go forward in the future. And if you can, Virgo World's analysis, if you can analyze your mental attitude and your physical condition and be real honest about that and quit kidding yourself about different activities that you could be involved in, and just say, well, how long do I want to live? And what do I have to do to achieve that? And you could be making some lifelong plans right now. And you could do that successfully. Put together a winning combination. So I don't know how old you are right now, Virgo, but if you want to keep going, there are some things that you might have to change and put together a winning combination that can get you going down the road of life for a very long time. You could do that right now. So you need to have a private little talk with yourself and do what is best for a wonderful long life. Because now is a very good time to plan that and stick to it. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, the sun is now in your sign. Well, Venus has been in your sign even before that, trining Jupiter, and now the sun in your sign is also trining Jupiter in Gemini, and together those two planets are trining Aquarius, the sign of the future. So certainly, Libra, you should be thinking about your future, because with Jupiter trining your sun clear until next summer, there are going to be opportunities for you to make easy transitional changes. Gemini rules our neighborhoods. You could move from one neighborhood to another, or it rules short-term projects or temporary jobs of some sort, and absolutely excellent communication. And you could be involved in all of that. And since your sign rules partnership, it means you will not be alone. You will have somebody else in partnership that can work with you on some sort of a future project or a future dream or a future goal of yours that could be very creative, and it could work. Particularly from now until next summer, the whole time that Jupiter is going to be trining your sun sign. Even if the sun moves out of Libra, Jupiter is still going to be trining your sun sign. And by November, Pluto will go back into Aquarius, and it too will be trining your sun sign. So even, Libra, even if you were starting a new partnership, or you were starting something in a small way and just trying to get a winning combination together for a future goal, which would be a good idea right now, I think you'd succeed at that, Libra, then you would be in an optimum position by November to take advantage of Pluto in Aquarius trining your sun, which means that whatever you would be putting together the right ingredients to do something, you may attract somebody rather powerful who could back you as early as November. And that's because Pluto will be trining your sun for years. And so you like working in partnership, Libra, and you succeed that way. So look around. And if you are doing just one thing part-time and another thing part-time, there is a possibility both of those things could grow and work out quite well in the future for you. And so I urge you to think about expansion and go ahead and try to attract new partners or be a good new partner. That would be a good idea. It may not be as easy as you think in some areas, one of which would be your family. And that is because the moon and Mars in Cancer are squaring the sun in your sign right now, and that Pluto in Capricorn is also squaring the sun in your sign. And so there is a conflict between career duties and home duties that can affect you or some partner. And this is a good time to put together a winning combination that can sort of work out schedules or work out duties and, just be sort of flexible. All of the air signs, they're very good communicators. And your sign rules compromise, so there is the possibility that no matter what you're focused on, you may be able to compromise your goals in some way that form a winning combination with somebody else who has similar goals, maybe not the same ones, but similar ones, and that could turn out to be something that would really work in the future for you. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, Venus has just come into your sign. Well, that's going to make you very popular, Scorpio, because it's part of a grand trine of 5 planets, all in the water signs. So yes, you should certainly follow your feelings. And I don't mean temporary ones. Yours is a fixed sign, and it's a fixed financial sign. So this is a very good time for you to sit down, Scorpio, and think about managing your money, which is what your sign rules, money management. Scorpios are good money managers. But the moon and Mars in Cancer are trining your sun, which means there can be a home or a family or something that has to do with a move that could work out well for you right now, Scorpio. And it wouldn't please everybody, but it may please you really well. And maybe you could help somebody who's moving on if you want to. Or maybe you could just lend them the money to do it. And then Saturn and Neptune are also trining that Venus in your sign. And that's excellent because 2 of the most visionary planets in the heavens, the moon in Cancer and Neptune in Pisces, are trining each other and your sun as well, where you have Venus. This is an excellent time for you to be putting together a winning combination that allows a long-delayed dream to come true. Because it could. Neptune and Saturn are both retrograde. Saturn rules time, and it's going backwards. Maybe something that should have happened before could happen now. And with Venus in your sign, this loving combination of 5 planets in the water signs can give people the stamina and the determination to make their dreams come true and to be able to afford it. Something that you want to be able to afford, you really will be able to do that with Venus in your sign, so beautifully trined right now by 4 other planets. And so if you were selling property, you could be able to do that. And if you were turning around and buying other property, you could be able to do that. Or if you were simply deciding to manage your money in a different way, in a more practical way, in anticipation of future financial changes, that would be a great idea for right now, Scorpio. Because we are going to be looking at change throughout the world. And this would be a good time for you, since your sign rules strategy and psychology, this would be a very good time for you to put yourself into a financial position that is sort of risk averse. In other words, you don't have to go out on a limb on anything right now. It would be better to consolidate your forces or your finances right now, and prepare for change. Remember, we're only trying to put together the winning combination. There are no planets in fire signs. It's not like everybody is going to achieve instant success right now. But you couldn't do that no matter how long you waited if you didn't have the right combination in the first place. So that's what you can work on really well and successfully. So good luck, Scorpio. Something's going to be easier than you think. And so don't avoid any problem right now, because you'll find a way to solve it and be successful. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, there are planets in mutable signs. They're sort of coming up against each other right now. You may be very used to that by now because that's been going on for a while, Sagittarius. But first of all, there are no planets in the fire signs. So are you going to be making some big jump or taking a big trip right now, Sagittarius? I'm not so sure about that, but you certainly could be putting together a winning combination anyway. And remember, it's a little bit like baking bread. You have to have the right ingredients together before you can get a tasty loaf. And I think that you are at the getting things together stage. And that's perfectly fine. I mean, you don't need to be zooming forward right now, Sagittarius. There are no planets in fire signs. I don't think that's going to happen. But if you're putting together a winning combination right now, and you are really pretty convinced of what you're doing and where you're going, in other words, you're sort of following your fine mind and letting it go ahead and explore, and you're able to express yourself rather well right now, I think that would be done in something that involves the planning stage of something. You know, that putting a winning combination together would involve planning. And you can do that without taking further steps. You could get a good plan together. Anybody could do that right now because all the planets are trining some other planet. You know, somehow that could work for a lot of people. And so I suggest that you do that, Sagittarius, because Saturn and Neptune in Pisces are still squaring your sun. Mercury in Virgo is still squaring your sun. And that means that there is some sort of a health condition, either a physical or a mental health condition, that can be somewhat challenging for you. It might not be your condition, but it could be somebody you know, and that could be challenging. I would not do too much about that right now because whoever is suffering in some sort of health malady with the grand trine in earth signs, they could solve it themselves, Sagittarius. And you may as well let them do that. It's a good idea. And so right now, all you have to do is put together the right ingredients, and one of them could be financial. In other words, if you were planning to do something in the future that you want to do, how are you going to pay for it, Sagittarius? Well, Venus is in Scorpio right behind your sun sign, and it's in a fabulous grand trine. And so I think that you would be able to find a way to pay for something that you want to do in your future. And so I would look behind the scenes and work on that, because that's part of putting the right combination together, the financial part of it. And I think that you would succeed at that right now. So I would pursue that a little quietly. But go ahead and do that. Nothing wrong with going around and asking questions and getting information, because you'd be good at that, so good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, Pluto is in your sign at the 29th degree of fate. It's retrograde, which means this would be a very good time for you to be rethinking your career ambitions, because that's what your sign rules. And there are 4 retrograde planets right now, all in one half of all of our charts. And so we do have to go back, all of us, and rethink what we're doing in part of our lives. And the reason why we need to do that, and why you need to do that, Capricorn, is a pretty good reason. There is a grand trine in the earth signs. So Uranus in Taurus, which is also retrograde, is trining your sun, and Pluto in your sign almost exactly. And Mercury in Virgo is doing the same thing. And that simply means that you can go back and be looking at health matters and career matters and investment matters. And you can be sort of putting a pencil to everything. And I think that the more that you study that, in other words, study the costs of what you want to do in your future, and also where you're going to get the money to pay for that, you would be rather successful at that right now, Capricorn. And one good reason why is that your ruler, Saturn, is being fabulously trined. It's in the grand trine in the water signs because it's in Pisces, sextiling your sun, but it's getting so much backup now from a grand trine in water signs that I think that you should follow your feelings. The Capricorns are very practical people, but they have feelings just like anybody else, and you should follow your feelings. in order to put together a winning combination right now that would involve what you want to do going forward. You know, it might not be a career choice. It might be a hobby that you're interested in. Well, okay. You could put together some sort of winning combination that could achieve your goals. It doesn't mean you're achieving your goal right now. There's no planets in fire signs. You know, nobody's going to be a ball of fire at the moment. But you have to get the ingredients right first, Capricorn. And I think that if you sit down and put a pencil to things and ask yourself how you really feel about what you want to do in your future, you're going to get a really clear answer right now. And one that would be based on what you can afford. And I think that you're going to be able to shift your career aims and your budget into a much finer alignment so that you will be able to afford what you are interested in doing in your future. Things will work out in better alignment now if you just sit down and think about that and get the right ingredients together. It'll work. So I hope you do that. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius. This is the time, Aquarius, when you certainly benefit from the fact that the Sun is in Libra, trining your Sun, and Jupiter, of course, is in Gemini, also trining your Sun, which it has been doing. It's going to be doing that until next summer, Aquarius, which is good for you. And so, Aquarius, all of us can take advantage in one way or another of the planets that are trining other planets right now. And all 10 planets are being trined by some other planet. That is very unusual. Even though there's no planets in fire signs, there are 5 trining each other in a grand trine in water signs. There's 3 in a grand trine in the earth signs. And there's 2 in the air signs right now. That really benefits everybody. And so, in one way or another. And so I think that if you are thinking of putting together a winning combination, and it might be with a new partner, or it might be on a temporary basis, or in a short-term project, I think that that's the way to go, Aquarius. And where would you be going with that? Straight into your future. And that's what you're supposed to be doing anyway. Uranus, your ruler, is in Taurus, and it's been squaring your Sun for the last 6 years. It's got 1 more year of doing that. But you really, right now, Aquarius, have got to get ready for the best 7 years of your whole life, which are coming up next year when Uranus, your ruler, moves into Gemini and trines your Sun. It's going to be an eye-opener for you. I mean, you know, your sign rules space. It rules flight. You're going to be off and flying within another year, Aquarius, and you've got to get the right combination together now. It doesn't mean that you're launching a takeoff right now, but you can't do that very successfully without getting the right ingredients or the right partners together. And you know, you've just got to try things out. If one thing doesn't work, try another. You've got to get ready for the best years of your life, which are still ahead of you, no matter what age you are. So this is the time to put together that winning combination, and that means that you have to try things on little by little, maybe in a part-time way, or with different people in order to get that winning combination together. But you've got to have the right ingredients before you can fly. And that's what you should be doing now, so good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Oh, Pisces. Oh boy, last week you had a fabulous lunar eclipse in your sign, and this week there are 5 planets in the water signs in a powerful grand trine. And I mean powerful. Venus in Scorpio is trining Saturn and Neptune in your sign, Pisces. If you ever wanted to make a long delayed dream come true and have the money to pay for it, that could happen right now. Pisces, in one way or another. And then Mars and the Moon today are exactly conjunct in Cancer. Tomorrow they're going to be at the critical 13th degree of Cancer, which is the United States, the exact degree of the United States Sun. And they are also trining your Sun, Pisces. So you have the ruler of one sign, the Moon, trining the ruler of your sign, Neptune, and they're both visionary planets. So you have some sort of wonderful, fond vision inside of you, Pisces, that you've always wanted to do. And it may involve a move, or it may involve going back to somewhere that you have lived before. And that would work out really well because it would make you feel grounded and able to go on. And Mars is also in Cancer, trining Saturn in your sign. These are two malefic planets, and they're really helping you out because they're giving you stamina and determination and energy to go ahead and form a winning combination based on your real feelings. You know, all the water signs rule our feelings. And if you sort of examine your feelings very closely right now, Pisces, you would get at the truth. There wouldn't be any way to avoid it. You could be looking at your past mistakes and wisely learning from them and deciding, okay, that's in my past, doesn't have anything to do with my future. And you could be deciding what is right for me right now and who is right for me. And this would be a very good time for you to get together a winning combination that would make you happy for the rest of your life. It doesn't mean everything is settled, but you got to get the right ingredients first, Pisces. And I think someone that you've had in your heart for a long time, or something that you've wanted to do in your heart for a long time, is upon you now. And there isn't anything stopping you. Not even the money. Somehow you'll find a way to get it all together. Venus in Scorpio, which rules justice and survival, is trining your sun. So you're going to make it, Pisces. Quit thinking that it can happen someday. Take advantage of all the good stuff that's backing you up right now and do it today. Get that winning combination together. Good luck. All right. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and thanks for the new subscribers. I'm really sorry that last week there were no sun signs up, but I have some hackers that are trying to steal the show just when I'm editing it, before it even airs. And what they did is they corrupted a bunch of files last week. I couldn't put those sun signs up. And I don't know if I can get them up this week either, but don't worry, I'm working on that problem and we will solve it. I'll find the winning combination that will help me with that, because I didn't like not having those sun signs up last week, but I had to get the show on the air, and I just didn't have the problem solved yet. But I'm working on it. It'll get done. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you next week. Bye.